Moving to another big story of the day, with Iraq seemingly getting into a civil war-like situation, the government forces are fast losing control over the major cities. But importantly, the fate of thousands of Indians is certainly uncertain now. Their families back home are in tears, not knowing if they will be able to see their loved ones yet again or not. In such a dire situation, the government has finally waken up, but it is a matter of grave concern as India has little influence on the situation in Iraq so far, as Al-Qaeda-backed ruthless militia under the banner of barbaric group ISIS overrun large swaths of northern Iraq and come within touching distance of the capital Baghdad. Thousands of Indians in the troubled state are finding themselves caught in the crossfire. Already reports suggest that 40 Indians are trapped in the city of Mosul, which fell first. Latest count suggests that 46 Indians more have been abducted in the city of Tikrit now. The terrorists are within the striking distance of the capital city of Baghdad, as per the latest reports. But is the government underestimating the challenge? The ISIS is not certainly a ragtag group of mercenaries. Rather, the Qaeda-funded group is highly trained and battle-hardy, having troubled the US Special Forces in Iraq and having already challenged the Iraqi army earlier. These pictures, which we are going to show, is a testimony to the brutal methods that the ISIS has been using in Iraq, and certainly India should be concerned.
What's your mission and what is it? How grim is the situation?
At this stage, I would not like to say much, except that the government is concerned and we are doing all that is possible to safeguard the safety of the Indians. And me going to Iraq is part of the process.
Sir, it is a very difficult situation. You work there. How grim does it look and how difficult would it be for the 40 who've been kidnapped?
I would not like to pass any comments at this stage.
Right, sir.
Because it's still a bit premature for me to say anything without going there and seeing what is the situation. Thank you.
Sir, but is the situation very difficult, sir?
Sorry, no comments now.
Right, sir. That was Ambassador Suresh K. Reddy speaking exclusively to NewsX, saying that the situation is very difficult. He's on a mission. The government is concerned and they'll do all they can to ensure that the Indians who are stranded there return to safety. With you to journalist Lalatendu Jena in New Delhi, Geeta Mohan for NewsX.
The 40 workers who were working in Mosul were working with a company called Tariq Noor Al Huda Construction Company. Our understanding is, based on information that we have gleaned from a variety of sources, including the International Red Crescent, that these 40 Indian workers, I can confirm to you now, have been kidnapped.
Well, I know that for a while outside Baghdad, we were told that the situation was much better, security situation was much better than it was in Iraq, in Baghdad itself. I visited Baghdad myself and I saw how heavily it was guarded and how difficult it must have been for security forces, but they were trying to do their best, and I was told, both from the point of view of investment, that beyond and outside Baghdad the situation was much better.
And you think there's Chechens in there?
There is, yeah. In Sa'diya, there was a Iraqi military post that got abandoned 3 days ago, and we have sources there, and they moved a group of Afghans into that fort. You have Chechens. Our guys didn't know obviously what they were. They have blonde beards and blue eyes, you know, and they have teams of snipers. They're very organized. They have teams of snipers. They have teams with heavy guns. So we'll slowly try and. This is our show. This is our show.
Moving on, in a move that has escalated political tensions, the NDA government has started nudging the 7 Congress-appointed governors to quit. Sources in the government say that Union Secretary Anil Goswami has called up 7 governors and suggested that they put in their papers. The development can lead to a protracted political battle and is sure to end up in court. Amid such a situation, NDA government has prepared a plan to ensure that those governors who have been brought in by the previous regime are sidelined systematically. The 3-pronged approach that the government may adopt towards these governors is to first leave alone those whose terms are about to get over. Second is to win over those governors whose loyalties to Congress is suspect. And third is to transfer those governors who are certainly loyal to Congress to smaller states.
Communication from the center regarding your education. Nothing has happened between the time I went in and it came out.
Have you got any communication, sir?
I said nothing has happened between the time I went in and I came out.
Sir, do you think it's unfair for the central government to take such hasty decisions, sir?
Meanwhile, in the case of H.R. Bhardwaj, who is the governor of Karnataka, he is likely to be allowed to complete his term as there are only 12 days left for his tenure to end. Meanwhile, M.K. Narayanan, who is the West Bengal governor, is likely to succumb to pressure and could quit very soon. K. Sankara Narayanan, the Maharashtra governor, has already refused to quit and he may be transferred to a smaller state. Kerala Governor Sheila Dikshit has also refused to budge and she too is likely to be transferred to a smaller state. Meanwhile, J.B. Patnaik from Assam is likely to succumb to the pressure and quit very soon. Margaret Alva in Rajasthan could switch loyalties to centre and be allowed to stay. The future of Shivraj Patil, the governor of Punjab, is however still uncertain. Over to Bihar now. Lalu Prasad has announced that his Rashtriya Janata Dal will support the two candidates of his arch-rival Nitish Kumar's JDU in the Rajya Sabha by-elections. Lalu said that his party would support JDU nominees in order to defeat the communal forces. Reacting to Lalu's decision, Nitish said that he welcomed the move to support the candidates of his party. JDU nominees, who are former diplomat and politicians Pavan Verma and Ghulam Rasool, are up against independent candidates who are also real estate barons Anil Sharma and Sabir Ali. The two are reportedly being backed by party rebels. The by-elections of Rajya Sabha are likely to be held tomorrow. Last week, Nitish had sought support of Lalu for by-polls for the upper house. As per Nitish, the move was aimed to counter BJP's plan to destabilize the government in Bihar. Meanwhile, the arithmetic is said to be against the ruling JDU. Precisely for this reason, the support of 21 RJD MLAs is certainly being seen as crucial for Nitish's party.
भूत को छोड़ो, वर्तमान पर सोचो, भविष्य की चिंता छोड़ो। बुद्ध भगवान ने कहा तो वर्तमान में जो हमारे सामने एजेंडा है उस एजेंडा पर हमारा ये फैसला है। बाकी बात बाकी भाजपा का जो खेल हो रहा था उसके खेल को हम सफल नहीं होने देंगे और सरकार को डिस्टेबलाइज नहीं होने देंगे।
श्री लालू प्रसाद जी ने राष्ट्रीय जनता दल के समर्थन का ऐलान किया है। मैं उसका स्वागत करता हूं। हमने 3 दिन पहले ही जो ये राज्यसभा के उपचुनाव में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जो गेम प्लान है, उनकी जो साजिश थी, उसके मद्देनजर हमने ये अपील की थी कि उनके साजिशों को विफल करना चाहिए।
देखिए, मुझे बड़ी प्रसन्नता है कि हार के डर से छोटे भाई और बड़े भाई ने हाथ मिला लिया है। सिद्धांत, नैतिकता और स्वाभिमान तार तार हो गया है और जिस जंगल राज के खिलाफ लोगों ने 2010 में जनादेश दिया था, उसी जंगल राज के साथ उन्होंने हाथ मिला लिया है। इसलिए मुझे खुशी से मैंने कल भी कहा था कि जनता दल और राजद अगर बिहार में हाथ मिला ले तो अगले विधानसभा चुनाव में हमारा रास्ता आसान हो जाएगा।
नीतीश जी कम से कम बिहार की जनता से माफी मांगे कि जिसको गाली दे दे कर आए थे जंगल राज है, उसी जंगल राज वाले से समर्थन लिया।
Well, it's a welcome move, and the appeal had been given by Nitish Kumar ji a few days back to all the parties who are opposing to BJP, may it be RJD, may it be Congress, CPI and the independents, that to come and to expose the BJP of its evil design of destabilizing a elected government which has been elected for 5 years. The whole ploy was to destabilize. The ploy was not to win the Rajya Sabha seat. The ploy was to destabilize the government.
Now to the latest on Preeti Zinta Neswadia case. The actress has last night ruled out selling out her stake in the IPL franchise Kings 11 Punjab, saying that she will be back in India soon to clarify her position. Preeti Zinta spoke for the first time after filing FIR against former boyfriend and business partner Neswadia. Preeti had leveled charges of molestation and verbal abuse against Ness Wadia during an IPL match. He had denied any wrongdoing on his part and had expressed shock at the accusations. On a Twitter account, Preeti last night thanked her well-wishers and also clarified that she is not selling the stake in the IPL franchise Kings 11 Punjab. She also accused the media of speculating on the case and ruled out that she was settling down in US for good.
Preeti Zinta has contacted us through her lawyer today and she has informed that she is coming back to assist in the investigation in this week. So when she comes, we will be recording her supplementary statement.
Meanwhile, there's a new twist to the ongoing Preeti Ness saga. The Wadias have now filed a police complaint claiming that they are receiving threat calls from an underworld don Ravi Pujara. The police, meanwhile, has confirmed that Preeti will record a fresh statement by the end of this week.
A scandal that captured the attention of the country. One of the glam couples of the sports entertainment world having an acrimonious public spat, with the woman accusing her former partner of harassment.
Hello and a warm welcome. You're watching NewsX. I'm Shipra Wadhwa. Let's get you the headlines we are tracking at this hour. Due to criminal negligence, 10 children were stranded for 50 hours in the Damodar River in Jharkhand after the dam gates were opened without prior warning. After rescue operations on war footing, all children have been fortunately rescued. After a steep hike in the rail fares, opposition gets the perfect opportunity to attack the government. Congress announces a plan for nationwide protests and accuses the Prime Minister of doublespeak. It's official now. After a verbal directive, a written order now by the Prime Minister asks his ministers not to employ any staff. Right now, shifting focus in an announcement that came as a major relief for the kin of those abducted in Iraq. The Ministry of External Affairs has confirmed that all Indians are safe and that 16 Indians have already been evacuated from the violence-hit areas. The MEA also informed that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is personally taking stock of the situation of the 40 Indians who have been abducted in Iraq and added that it is a matter of high priority for the government. The Indian government also claims that those abducted in Mosul remain safe. India has also stopped granting its nationals permission to travel to the war-torn country. The Overseas Affairs Ministry has stopped granting immigration clearances to the Indians travelling to Iraq for 1 month. Those travelling for other purposes are also being advised to cancel their plans. Meanwhile, government also claims that it is in touch with 46 nurses in Tikrit and that it has made arrangements for their evacuation too.
मेरा बच्चा सही सलामत हमारे पास आ जाए, यही अल्लाह का बहुत बड़ा कदम होगा। हाँ, तो हम लोग कुछ बोल नहीं सकते। हम लोग की परेशानी जो है हम लोग जानते हैं। हमारे ही बच्चे नहीं, पूरे हिंदुस्तान के कुछ बच्चे लोग वहाँ पड़े हुए। सब बच्चों के लिए अल्लाह से दुआ यही करते हैं कि सबके बच्चे महफूज रहे। बच्चे से बराबर बात होती है। क्या बोल रहे बेटे? वो एकदम आराम से है, महफूज है। बोलता हम लोग को कभी भी लोग भेज सकते हैं।
उन्होंने बहुत आश्वासन दिया तो वो आपके बेटे नहीं हमारे बेटे हैं। अगर किसी पंजाबी को चोट लगती है तो मुझे लगती। वो कह रहे कोई से गवर्नमेंट बिल्डिंग से।
बात यही हुई कि वो उनकी लोकेशन का पता चला है, वो सेफ है। कल तक यही नहीं पता था कि वो कैसे हैं, लेकिन आज ये पता चला है कि वो सेफ है। जगह पता नहीं चली है, लोकेशन अभी पता नहीं चली है, लेकिन थोड़े बहुत इंडिकेशंस मिले हैं, वो ट्राई कर रहे हैं, पता चल जाएगी। जैसे ही लोकेशन प्रॉपरली पता चलती है वो साथ ही वापस आ जाएंगे।
Meanwhile, Islamist-led militants and pro-government forces are engaged in a fierce battle for the Baiji oil refinery and Tal Afar airport in northern Iraq. The fighting comes just a day after US said that it would send some 300 military advisors to help fight against the insurgents. But President Barack Obama had stressed that US troops would not fight in Iraq. Meanwhile, the country's highest Shia religious authority has called for a new government to be set up quickly now that the results of the recent elections have been ratified. Iraq's highest Shia religious authority has called for the new government after UN estimates that around 10 lakh people have already been displaced in this sectarian violence.
हमारी सरकार ने उस पर कड़ी नजर रखी है और जो भी भारतीय वहां फंसे हैं वो किसी तरीके से निकल जाएं, ये हमारा प्रयत्न है।
A day after the rail ticket fares were hiked, we are at the Cantonment railway station in Bangalore and we are with some passengers here. Sir, do you see this benefiting you?
On the whole, it's a good thing because they have not done it for the last 10 years, the hike. More than that, while doing it, they should see that passengers are comfortable in the train.
There are approximately 100 Indian nationals still trapped in the conflict zone in Iraq, and efforts are afoot to evacuate them at the very earliest. Of particular concern was the condition of 40 Indian nationals held hostage by ISIS fighters near Mosul. Now, India has now been able to certify and declare that the 39 Indians still in captivity, one escaped, they are safe. So, some nature of contact has been established with the captors and perhaps with the abductees themselves, but India is not specifying at the moment. There's a huge amount of effort, diplomatic and otherwise, at the level of intelligence agencies to secure the release of these 39 Indian construction workers. Of particular interest has been the nature of contact established with the Saudi intelligence agencies, whose help has been sought in persuading the captors, the ISIS fighters, to release the 39 Indians.
ये ऐसा संकट है और पिछले दिनों में देखा जाए, श्री वीपी सिंह जी की सरकार जब थी तो इराक ईरान युद्ध के अंदर हमने 1,40,000 लोगों को इराक से ला करके हम भारत में रखे थे। गृह युद्ध की स्थिति जब वहां थी, गल्फ वॉर की स्थिति जब थी, तो हम लाए थे तमाम इलाके से, पश्चिम एशिया के देशों से। तो आज क्यों नहीं हम ला सकते? जा करके लगा करके अपने भारतीयों को, चाहे वो बगदाद एयरपोर्ट पर ला करके स्पेशल प्लेन रख करके, उनके पास पासपोर्ट है कि नहीं है, उनकी फॉरेन पासपोर्ट ट्रैवल डॉक्यूमेंट बना करके उनको सबको ला करके भारत में पटक दें।
NDA government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is a sensitive government, and certainly our MEA Minister, Foreign Affairs Minister, Srimati Sushma Swaraj ji, is also monitoring along with the Prime Minister and the National Security Advisor. So all good steps will be taken and all channels are being opened to ensure that the Indians who are stranded there, they are unharmed and they are brought to India as early as possible.
Well, shifting focus to the political storm that's brewing back home after the government increased rail fares by a whopping 14%, the opposition has found the perfect weapon to hit out at the centre. Taking on the NDA government for across-the-board increase in rail fares, the Congress sought immediate rollback of what it termed as the biggest hike in the history. It has also promised nationwide protests from today. Taking potshots at the BJP's poll slogan of "Good days are to come," the Congress General Secretary Ajay Maken said that a gift by Modi government is putting an additional burden on the shoulders of middle class, lower middle class and the poor. The centre's decision of an unprecedented hike in rail fares has now become a political potboiler. Opposition sees red over the 14.2% hike in the passenger fares and the 6% hike in the freight fares. Meanwhile, Congress has promised nationwide protests against the impending price hike from June 25th. The issue has also cast a shadow over the upcoming budget session of the Parliament.
Those who till yesterday were talking about the Aam Aadmi and how his concern should be addressed have now started doing exactly the opposite by imposing as much burden as they can on the so-called Aam Aadmi who has voted them into power.
जब से सरकार आई है बिल्कुल सब कुछ उल्टा होता जा रहा है और रेल का बजट जब आता है तब कीमतें घटाई और बढ़ाई जाती। रेलवे का बजट आने से पहले कीमत बढ़ाना बिल्कुल गलत है।
तो ये कहकर के आए कि अच्छे दिन उनके आने के बाद में आएंगे। आज तक का शायद सबसे बड़ा पैसेंजर के हाइक 30 दिन के पहले ही मोदी सरकार ने करके देश की जनता को जो उनको वोट देने का इनाम दिया है वो हम सब लोगों के सामने है और कांग्रेस पार्टी इसकी तीव्र निंदा करता है।
Earlier it was deferred and it has
it was withdrawn, thinking that the new government will take a very judicious decision and it may not affect the common man.
Well, the opposition claims that a 14.2% rail fare hike is totally against people's interests, adding that the hike was unnecessary as other revenue-generating options must have been explored. The Congress also states that it is hypocritical of the BJP to slam the hikes while in opposition, but increase the fares while in power.
बढ़ाया नहीं गया है इंटरिम बजट में, और पहले जो सरकार ने बजट में पास किया था कि तेल की कीमतों से जोड़ा था, जो कांग्रेस की पिछली सरकार थी, उसके बजट को तो डिसऑन नहीं कर सकते। और जब रेल बजट आएगा तो जनता को सुविधा देने के लिए उसमें कई अच्छी घोषणा होगी। अभी तो हमने सिर्फ इसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया है।
Meanwhile, the opposition has slammed the government's move on train fare hike. Let's listen in.
We have demanded the rollback of this hike, and it is true that BJP claims it has a strong mandate. Strong mandate does not mean to take strong anti-people measures. This is one of the strongest anti-people measures that new government has unleashed.
देखिए, ये जो एक क्रूर धोखा मोदी जी किया है, ये तो साफ हो गया है कि पहले से हम जो बोलते आए हैं, जो बीजेपी और मोदी का नीति बिल्कुल कांग्रेस के बराबर है, और खास करके माल भाड़ा बढ़ाने से रेल का स्थिति और भी खराब होगा।
Well, the government's steep fare hike has, of course, caught many off guard. While the political opponents are already criticizing the government, NewsX did a reality check by going to major railway stations across the country and comparing the rationale of the government with the status of the facilities and the infrastructure. Here's a comprehensive ground report.
It is the first bitter pill from the Narendra Modi government. Ahead of the budget, the Railway Ministry has decided to raise rail fare. The rail fare hike is about 14.2%, which will be effective immediately. There's a freight rate hike as well, which is about 6.5%. Obviously, we've been speaking to passengers over here at the New Delhi railway station, and their opinion is, well, the fact remains that you're raising the fares, you're raising and hiking the fares, but what about the facilities which should be equivalent to the hike that you're implementing? Really, what about the facilities, the amenities at railway stations? Why aren't trains on time? What about the fact that, you know, the facilities inside the trains are not up to the mark? Really, these are complaints which passengers, railway passengers, have been having for a very long time. So they believe that you keep raising and hiking the fares, you are charging people for facilities which are non-existent on the ground. Really, so what, how are you exactly justifying this fare hike? So that is the frustration that the railway passenger is expressing, and seriously asking the Narendra Modi government if this is indeed Achhe Din or Bure Din for the railway passenger. With camera person Gopal, Paulami Saha in New Delhi for NewsX.
As a measure of reviving economy, the government has approved a steep hike on the railway fare. And this comes as a shocker for the Bangaloreans, as already people are suffering because of increasing inflation, and they have to shell out more money for a travel in a government transport. With video journalist Satish, Sagairaj, NewsX, Bangalore.
It's a big shocker for most of the passengers here in the Chennai railway station. They are saying that definitely it is going to affect their traveling. Already they are under the price hike, and now they did not expect such a huge hike of 14.2% of the passenger fare. And also they are worried about the 6.5% of the freight charges, because they are being sending lots of things to other places. So that will definitely hike the other commodities price also. So this rise of this hike definitely is affecting everyone here in Chennai Central Railway Station. They asked the Modi government to roll back immediately. With video journalist Balu, B. Srikumar, NewsX, Chennai.
But Union Minister Nihal Chand Meghwal continues to be evasive. He has refused to clarify so far, while the chorus for his resignation is growing louder by the day. He has been evasive. Now the opposition parties have raised a massive campaign to oust him, but the BJP also till now has been looking the other way. Nihal's cabinet colleagues so far have refused to pay even the lip service to the rape victims' call for justice.